It's time now for Upon Further Review, brought to you by Ogeechee Technical College, Education with Purpose, and by Dr. Lincoln Lippincott with the Sleep Apnea Center in Statesboro. And now, here they are, Josh AUbrey and Nate Hirsch.
And we're happy to welcome you into a special edition of Upon Further Review, along with Josh, part of the Statesboro Herald's online team. This is Nate. We're up top of ERA Hirsch Real Estate Team, 408 South Zetterauer Avenue. If you're buying or selling real estate, talk to the experts. They're downstairs at ERA Hirsch Real Estate Team. Well, throughout the summer, we like to do special interviews, and you'll see them run a few times, so you can actually, if you miss it once, miss part of it, you can see it again. And by the way, our shows are also on Facebook and YouTube. And today, since we didn't get a chance to talk with our Director of Athletics at Georgia Southern, we normally have done that with him the last 3 years for December. Mm-hmm. We felt like he maybe was a little busy.
Yeah.
So anyway,
he might be busy now too, but
that's another story.
Yes.
So anyway, so we did catch up with Tom Kleinlein. In fact, caught up with him
prior to the baseball tournament.
Right. So we're not discussing the baseball tournament.
Correct.
Since neither one of us knows how that's going to turn out. That would be a nice edit to do if we were winning the tournament and going to the regionals this year.
Yes.
But anyway, we did have a chance to, talk to him. I figured he had just got through with his caravans, and I let him, certainly explain some things.
There's a lot of football questions related, whether it's the lack of Saturday games, which we talked about that. So there's quite a few things that you talked about.
Yeah.
Primarily football, but I think that's what a lot of people want to hear right now.
All right. Quick reminder, when you need legal advice in the Statesboro, Bullitt County area, we have the man for you to call on, and that is Lovett Bennett Jr., attorney at law, PC, Lovett's office located in downtown Statesboro. After the break, we'll come back and we'll visit with Tom Kleinlein on Upon Further Review.
It's a summer sell down at Franklin Toyota. We're selling down millions of dollars in inventory of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Buy RAV4s or Corollas and get 0 APR for 60 months, plus 500 APR cash.
Find it at Franklin Toyota in Statesboro.
Dr. Sergio Dalsenia of Family Internal Medicine reminds you that Kathy Shriver, who specializes in diabetes education and consultations, is now exclusive to Family Internal Medicine. Call for an appointment. Their office located in the Cotton Ridge Plaza on Fair Road.
It's a summer sell down at Franklin Toyota. We're selling down millions of dollars in inventory of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Buy RAV4s or Corollas and get 0 APR for 60 months, plus 500 APR cash.
Find it at Franklin Toyota in Statesboro.
Well, as promised, here's our visit with Director of Athletics for Georgia Southern, Tom Kleinlein.
Let me start off with, last December we did have the coaching change. The fans were surprised. Were you surprised when Willie Fritz left?
Well, I think, Willie was extremely happy here, and we were going through a successful period here. But I think any time that Georgia Southern is successful in football and has a successful football coach, people are going to look at them and try to recruit them to come to their place. So you're always in a position as an athletic director, as your team is becoming more successful, you kind of start thinking in the back of your mind, are we getting to the point where his success is starting to attract a lot of people's interest in him being a head football coach? So I don't know that I was surprised. I do say that, do think that, it did kind of catch me as a little bit of a surprise when he chose to go to Tulane. I mean, there had been some other institutions that had wanted to talk to Willie and talk to Willie during the year. But I think he made a good decision in terms of what was best for his family, and I'm really excited about the direction we're going now with Coach Summers.
Yeah, the amazing thing is to have all of what I would call turmoil, certainly when you have a turnover, the assistant coaches that I had talked to then, there was some unknown with their contracts, I guess, at the time also. But all that aside, the team is able to put it together and come up with a tremendous effort in the GoDaddy Bowl, which makes you wonder, kids are pretty resilient.
They absolutely are, and I think a lot of that has to do with the culture that we have here at Georgia Southern. I think our kids went down to Mobile for their first bowl experience, and there was a lot of transition and a lot of change, and Coach McGee did a great job with the staff rallying our team and kind of getting them behind each other for the common cause. And I think there was a little bit of bulletin board material that kind of got our team rallied up, and they responded very well.
Really nothing has changed from when we did this interview several years ago, when I came to you and I was pushing for Jeff Monken let's find a way to keep him, and you said to me then, Nate, quit worrying about the coaches. We can only afford to pay certain amounts of money right now. Of course, what you also told me, I think at the time, was worry about our president, and he left also. You survived. This has been a year of transition, obviously, with an interim president. Any way to foresee what we're looking forward to with Dr. AUbrey?
Well, I think Dr. AUbrey, anybody that was part of the search process or saw his public comments during his interview process here will gather that this is a guy that comes to us that believes in athletics. He's been at institutions in our league that are very supportive of athletics. In his position at Sam Houston State, he's very supportive of athletics. But he's also understands the mission of our university and what we want to do here at Georgia Southern. I think he's going to have a very good plan for how athletics fits within that mission of the university. So I anticipate the support that we've had in leadership, not only through Dr. AUbrey, but what we've had through Dr. Bartels and through Dr. Brooks Keel.
Yeah, I was going to say, people say, well, this is kind of a transition year, but really nothing changed with Dr. Bartels in charge.
No, and transition is a tough term for athletic directors. Athletic directors always feel like we're either moving ahead or falling behind. There's never kind of a standstill period. And I think Dr. Bartels did a great job of kind of understanding in the short term what we needed to get done in athletics. She was a big part of the process of us going through and hiring Tyson Summers. She was part of that. And I think we are now at a point where she's done a great job of kind of calming the waters, so to speak, and getting it ready for Dr. AUbrey for when he takes over July 1.
All right, we'll continue with more in just a moment.
Do you ever wonder what that 15% savings cost you in service?
What's the name on the account?
My name is Mary, M-A-R-Y.
Who is this?
Mary.
Oh, okay.
My name is Mary.
Right.
Are you even listening to me?
Sure.
At Glenn Davis Insurance, we get to know you as a person. To us, you're not just another number. Together with Auto Owners Insurance, we can develop an insurance plan tailored to your specific needs. Glenn Davis & Associates. Call or come by today.
The Medical Center Pharmacy on Grenade Street is proud to be your Health Mart pharmacy in Statesboro. The Medical Center Pharmacy, locally owned and serving this community for 50 years, is open 364 days a year. The pharmacists at Medical Center know there's nothing more important than your family's well-being. That's why they take the time to know their customers, explain their medications, and answer any questions. The Medical Center Pharmacy, your Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Well, you just finished getting off the caravan trail, and from what I've been able to read and actually talk to people, the turnouts were excellent. You went to some new stops throughout the state, went over certainly to the southwest part. And what were the main questions, I guess, you got hit up with there?
I think the biggest part of our goal with these caravans is to get out and obviously with a new football coach, give our fans a chance to see Tyson and understand what Tyson's about, but also see Mark Byington, see some of our other coaches as well that they may not be as familiar with. I think it's important that our fans understand what the fabric of our coaches are, and that comes out in these caravans. Typically for me, my role is to kind of do a State of the Union. I kind of go through where we are athletically and in terms of our big plan that we've laid out when I first got here, and go through a lot of data points to talk about the increases that we've experienced not only financially but athletically and academically. And then it also gives us an opportunity to touch some new people that may have either not been connected with the university or the athletic department for a couple of years, and we're kind of bringing them back into the fold, or some younger people. And that was one of the things that I was very impressed with, is we're starting to see a lot more of the recent graduates that are showing up to these caravans that are wanting to get involved and wanting to support athletics.
When you first came here, it was pretty much your assignment, get us in the Sun Belt. which you accomplished that, very quickly. But then you had obviously other goals, and certainly you changed personnel in different departments of your department. And certainly one of the major ones, the booster office, which now, of course, has a different name to it and everything. Where are we right now with the growth of boosters? We were stuck on that 2,000 number, it seemed like, for 25 years?
Mm-hmm. We've seen an 18% increase over this past year, and numbers of donors were up from 2,000 to roughly 2,600. We've seen an increase. When I first arrived here, we were raising about $945,000 a year. This year, we're closing in on a $1.5 million mark. That's cash money. It's not things that have been done in the past, which were things that were needed in terms of gift in kind and people helping out. We're always going to appreciate those gifts because they're important to us, but this is an actual dollar figure that we can put into our foundation reserves, and we can use it to pay scholarships with, because that is the goal of what we try to do through our annual fund.
How much of that may have been, though, the increase that was necessitated to people that had certain tickets? They had to increase their donations.
Well, I think certainly when you look at the success of a football program, when you have increased donations because of an increase in a donation associated with a ticket price, there's that. But I also think it's new people wanting to get involved as well. And I never take away from the importance of a successful athletic program and helping drive annual fund dollars, because that's the main goal of all of it. It may be football tickets, it may be a basketball experience, it may be a baseball game with a family, but all those things are intertwined in how to help drive the revenue that we need. So football tickets is just one avenue. We've had a number of donors that have gotten on board with significant gifts, whether it's through our Champion Society or through our Transition 20, that didn't have anything to do with tickets.
All right, as far as, I'm not even going to bring up scheduling. You told Josh and I exactly what you hope to do scheduling. That's pretty much how the schedule has played itself out. In a perfect world, you'd have been able to bring in your alma mater, Wake Forest, but that hasn't happened. But I know we got a lot of people that were upset when we were playing 2 Thursday night games this year at home. And I think the reaction is, if we weren't winning, we wouldn't ask to be on television like we are, correct?
Right, I think that's the reality. The reality is we're a successful program in the Sun Belt Conference, and ESPN wants the successful programs to be on the Thursday night games. Thursday night football is a unique challenge, obviously, for some people here in Statesboro, because our game day on Saturday is an 8-hour experience, and obviously that experience changes when we play on Thursday night. The exposure that ESPN provides and the coverage that ESPN provides for our team and for our university is unprecedented. So we are going to take and seize that opportunity. Any chance we can get, and Thursday night football games are just part of what we're trying to do. Again, our goal and our mission is to serve the university, bring as much attention to the university through what we do on the field as we can, and ESPN football and Thursday night football is a way to do that.
And the Thursday night game with Lafayette is still listed now as homecoming for the school?
Yeah, that school, that's a choice that the university makes. They pick the date and when they want to have homecoming on which particular game, and I usually just kind of tell them, let me know which game you want to do it on. So they're choosing to continue to do it on Thursday night, and hopefully we can build some events around that Thursday night football game to make it more of a homecoming weekend as opposed to a homecoming game.
We'll come back and have our last segment with Tom Kleinlein in just a moment.
It's a summer sell down at Franklin Toyota. We're selling down millions of dollars in inventory of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Buy RAV4s or Corollas and get 0 APR for 60 months, plus 500 APR cash.
Find it at Franklin Toyota in Statesboro.
Tired of being tired? Do you start and end the day completely worn out? You may have obstructive sleep apnea. Dr. Lippincott at the Sleep Apnea Center in Statesboro can give you an evaluation and explain the new non-invasive procedure that has helped so many in our area. Call for an appointment or be on the lookout for one of our free seminars. The Sleep Apnea Center in Statesboro, part of Statesboro ENT, 120 South Zetterauer Avenue.
Well, Tom, the new field has looked pretty good to most people now after you had to listen to everybody about taking out the grass. I should tell people, and I've said on our show, you actually mentioned this to me. We were at Greenville, South Carolina for the baseball. This is several years ago when you first started thinking about it. All right, we've got 5 football games in there. We've had graduation in there. In a perfect scenario, what would you like to see now added to some of the events at Paulson Stadium? And is anything on the horizon right now?
Well, I think the first thing that the fans are going to see is the increased number of games with the Eric Russell Classic. I think we're going from 2 games now to 4 games. So that there's the first event in the new stadium. We've already increased participation. I think from a internal standpoint, you looked at the last week and a half, we've experienced some rain here in Statesboro, and our kids are in summer school, and we haven't missed a beat in terms of them, what they need to be doing, working out, and being able to utilize the field to practice on their own. So all those things are great, things for our program. I think as we look down the future, there's opportunities to maybe get high school championship games in here. I'd love to sit down and talk with the State Athletic Association and try to play some Georgia High School Athletic Association games here. Not necessarily the ones that are in Atlanta, but maybe through the private schools or one of those organizations. I think you got to look at what we're going to do as we begin to expand the Statesboro community. Do we look attractive to start holding outdoor concerts and those kind of things in our stadium? Those are all things that are on the horizon and in the planning stage now.
Because that's what everybody wants to know is, are we going to have Cole Swindell come in here or Luke Bryan ever for a concert, right?
That's a big question I get asked all the time, Nate.
Our boy Cole, by the way, has had quite a few exciting weeks here with his new CD out, and certainly playing at the World Trade Center. I know you've been able to stay in touch with him, and he's got enough Georgia Southern gear, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He's a great Eagle. We love the fact that he promotes our university, and love to have him back when he comes back. And I'm excited to hopefully see what the near future holds for him coming back and being a part of the festivities here on our campus.
All right, we're out at the baseball stadium now. This time next year, Georgia Southern gets to host the Sun Belt Baseball Championships. You also hope to make some improvements out here at the stadium?
Yeah, we're doing some things. We were right now doing a campaign, baseball campaign to raise some money. We're looking at trying to raise some money through alums to potentially put in a video board and some other things to enhance the fan experience here at Jack Clemens Stadium. But we think those things are important as we bring events like the conference championship to Statesboro and give people in Statesboro an opportunity to see some good baseball. I mean, this is going to be a really good baseball league next year.
Speaking of conference championships, what is Georgia Southern's position right now on a Sun Belt football championship game?
Right now, I would love to have a conference championship game. I think we still have to do some more research, but my personal feeling is I want a conference championship game. But when we sit down in the room and we talk about the financial side of the positives of playing one and not playing one and how that affects your position in terms of the Power Five and being able to play on New Year's Day, I think there's some difference of opinion. My personal feeling is that I would like to have a conference championship game. However, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what's best for our conference and for our institution.
Right. I've talked to the other ADs. That's not the position everybody has right. It's kind of mixed, isn't it?
It's very mixed.
Okay. The Coastal Carolina scenario with them coming in, stories, I guess, out a week ago, they're having some problems. They got turned down, I guess, for a big bond thing from their legislature. How does everybody see Coastal coming in?
I think Coastal's committed to their decision to come into the Sun Belt, and I think each state is unique when it comes to politics, and I'm pretty sure the leadership of Coastal Carolina will be able to work their issues out and be a great member of the Sun Belt Conference.
And I guess one of the things you're proudest of probably in the time you've been here is how the grades have improved for athletics at Georgia Southern.
Yeah, we actually, for the first time in the history of Georgia Southern, achieved the department-wide 3.0 for the year. 64% of our student athletes this spring were on the Dean's List. Every one of our women's teams had a cum GPA of 3.0 for the year. So basketball has experienced an increase in their 6th straight semester with their best GPA under Mark Byington's watch. So we're doing some great things academically, and again, that's the mission, and that's what we're here for.
In closing, what would be the message you want to get out to our viewers?
Appreciate everybody's support. The journey has just started. We need more and more people helping us out, and we're going to continue to grow as an institution with their help, and we've got to decide as Eagle Nation if we're going to lead the Sun Belt or be a part of the Sun Belt, and that's kind of our next challenge.
Season ticket sales are approximately where now?
Season ticket sales are roughly where they would expect to be this time of year. We're probably about 400 or 500 off of the pace from last year, but I anticipate that'll grow here in the coming months.
Your goal this year, what, did I see some 8,500?
Yeah, our goal is 8,500. I do think the scheduling might hurt us a little bit with that,
Sure.
but I do anticipate us either matching or exceeding the number from last year.
Tom, have a great summer.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's a summer sell down at Franklin Toyota. We're selling down millions of dollars in inventory of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Buy RAV4s or Corollas and get 0 APR for 60 months, plus 500 APR cash.
Find it at Franklin Toyota in Statesboro.
We know how important your family is to you, which is why family medicine is so important to us. At TRICARE Family Medicine, we'll see that your family is in the best possible health. We offer a fun and friendly environment and are now accepting new pediatric and adult patients. Come experience the difference today. Let our family take care of your family at TRICARE Family Medicine, the official family practice of Georgia Southern Athletics.
All right, Josh, we've had a chance now to hear from our Director of Athletics who, again, I didn't hit him probably with some hard stuff or whatever. I wanted to get more information out there. Was encouraged. The number of boosters is growing. I thought when he mentioned how the fundraising had increased, but then I followed that up, I think, with how much of that came from people having to give more. That's all part of it.
There are a few things that you really couldn't get into with him that I think, people might say, why didn't they ask about, this or that? There's a couple of things that are still going on that he couldn't really get into right now. What we could talk to him about, you talked to him about.
Right.
And you're right. I mean, there was, the booster question was something that a lot of people have asked. Season tickets was another question. I think a lot of people were wondering, where are we right now? And he said they're about 400 or 500 off
right. Now
from where they were.
Now there's the point. Okay, let's start with that right now, because he was very honest and said, we may not sell as many season tickets
He was honest.
this year as we did last year because of the schedule. All right? Now, Josh was very nice. He didn't hit me in the back of the head to ask something, but afterwards...
Follow that up.
But afterwards, he brings up a very valid point, and it almost gets back to Sam Baker and how we thought about, would you rather, and even Bucky,
everybody's had a different philosophy.
Would you rather have, 10 people at the game giving you $500,000 each, or do you want $25,000? But your point is,
as far as the games and the season,
basically
okay.
He said we're going.
What's more important?
If ESPN
That's right.
calls, we're playing on ESPN.
And to me, the Wednesday games, if they played on Tuesday, if they played on Wednesday, I agree. I do think that's a big boost in viewership because you're either on ESPN or ESPN2. And that's the way things have been for a long time, particularly with those Thursday games. If you go back 10 years ago, you played on Thursday night, you were maybe the only show in town. I think it's a big difference now than what it was, because now you've got the NFL playing year-round on Thursday night, right? Okay, so you're automatically bumped behind them. Then there's a big-time Division I football.
There's going to be two others.
Right, from a big conference.
Yeah.
I mean, a major conference from the FBS. Major conference is two. Then there's a third.
Yeah.
And then we're fourth. Let's be honest. I mean, we're on ESPNU, and that's not where everyone goes to. And if there's three better games in front of you, who's watching that game? So to me, I don't know if Thursday holds what it used to. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. And to play two in a year, I got a problem with that.
Well, we did that, of course, a couple of years ago when we played.
Well, we did this past year.
But I'm saying, we played two at home.
That's right.
The difference was
it was brand new.
There was a sixth home game that year.
Don't have that this
There's
year.
only 5
And to me, the bigger question, and you mentioned it and he answered it, homecoming. How can you do that on a Thursday? That's a rough
gonna
one.
be there. Well,
I know that they've said they're going to do all they can to make it a weekend thing. You can do all that, but it's tough for people to get off of work for 4 days.
Yeah, or at least 3 days, Thursday,
Right.
Friday,
Well,
Saturday.
Thursday, Friday, so you're
Something
right.
like that. Yeah,
But
I
they have
guess.
to leave Thursday
Right.
early enough. If you're in Atlanta,
Again, we're here. It doesn't affect us.
You're right.
We're worried the people that are 3 hours away or more.
but I think we also saw the second Thursday game was
lot
a
tougher.
big drop off.
Yeah.
I think one Thursday a year, and you play Lafayette or App State, you're going to get a good crowd.
I think again, and nobody knew we would have the early success.
Yeah.
I think
They want you to be on. That means you're a good. That's a good.
I mean, really, if we had gone
Right.
if we had gone 4-4 in the league the
They
first
don't want
year,
you on TV.
You know, I don't see Georgia State. You know,
No, nobody's knocking on their door.
even though they had a respectable year last year, as
Yes,
it
they
turned
did.
out. Okay, so you want the top 3
And
or
they're
4,
in a major market too.
and you want the top 3 or 4 teams in the
Yes.
league are getting the exposures
Because they know
Appalachian
that
State-
you got a better chance of having a crowd.
Yeah.
It's going to look a little better for TV, and it's a team that people know much about. And you just won the GoDaddy Bowl, so
That right.
you got some
And
things
I
in your
thought,
favor.
he'd like to compare us to Boise State. You know what I remembered? Boise State played a lot of Friday night games.
They did. You're
You
right.
know, but it was late.
Yes.
Because of the time difference. You know, and so they played.
And you're the only show in town when
right.
you're that.
Anyway, but again, he's trying to listen. I didn't badger him on the schedule because we know what he's trying to do. And he can't get his old boys from Wake Forest to come. We know how tough that is. Meanwhile, we'll see how things play out. There's other stories that are out there. Hopefully nothing big. We were told the reason not to talk about the Board of Regents because we're happy with it right now.
That's right.
Don't rock the boat. All right. If you missed any part of the show today, it's going to run throughout the summer months here. We hope to have Tyson Summers on as we have in the past with our previous coaches. And also we'll update you later on with Paul Johnson and Kirby Smart.
No, not Mark Richt.
Not this year, unless you want to go to Miami. You would like
I would like that.
The U, anyway. All right. We'll see you throughout the summer right here on Upon Further Review.
Join us again next time for Upon Further Review, brought to you in part by Ogeechee Technical College, Education with Purpose, and by Dr. Lincoln Lippincott with the Sleep Apnea Center in Statesboro.